Plenty thank you to we on been to Sudan CC. We come with the news summary for we but still them with the happen all about the world. The time now for me is 3 o'clock now 8 minutes after 6 and the program now we on Salone and they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM and members yourself can be part of the program. Send a message to number 077 963 963 077 963 963 number you can send a message to and we go read them for you inside the program. We go take a first inside the program. Parliament don't approve Edmond Alpha and 2 other presidential nominee them now the well of Parliament, but the All People's Congress Party member them not being grieved for take part by Edmond Alpha in approval. This come after the party say they not be aware but in appointment. All this been happening Thursday, May 23 this year. We Yone Bangura been depart and go now reports.
Member of Parliament them from the ruling party don't approve Edmond Alpha for making work as commissioner for the Electoral Commission for Salone, na the southern region. This come after where the opposition member of Parliament them not being take part by in approval. According to Honorable Abdul Kaim Kamara from Cambia District, we also now the chief whip for the opposition party in Parliament talk say as party they not aware of Edmond Alpha in appointments. We mean say the president not consult them as per law.
In the last paragraph, the Secretary General of the All People's Congress Party said before the appointment of Edmond Alpha, we were not consulted. And even after, and to prove that we are not consulted, the letter is referred to us on the 25th of April. We interviewed Mr. Alpha after the 25th of April, and at the committee stage, I wish my colleague on the other side would have brought forward the letter from the president, and the letter is referred to as his supporting document for the claims he's making. But as we've always said in this world, he was fortunate to be here when SPB Dumbuya was speaker. And he taught him to say to yourself, be truthful. That is deception to this house.
During the debates for make them approve the nominee, this now waiting some member of Parliament them been say.
The proposed electoral commissioner during this critical time, Mr. Edmond Sylvester Alpha. And before I proceed, I would like to draw the attention of this House, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, to the Agreement for National Unity Resolution 3, dated on the 16th and 18th of October, that the committee will be informed by previous election with a view to highlighting and addressing the contentious issues of elections and results management, including the collation, including the verification, including authentication and publication of electoral data, consistent with international best practice. This was the National Unity Agreement paper signed by this government, the SLPP government, the All People's Congress, and then with a space for us to also have a chairperson from the international community. The reason for the establishment of this committee was simply because Sierra Leone's recent election did not meet the standard of international elections.
I only hope this time you will not disenfranchise the APCians at the South. Because if you check the numbers back then, comparatively to those of the Potloko districts, ECSL bonds, I'm wishing you the best in advance. Be guided that this time you will do the needful and what is right for the good of Sierra Leone. Because honestly, as Sierra Leoneans by divine, we will raise above region and tribal lines. And nobody will use that veil to destroy this noble nation. We will resist you.
When in the talk, the deputy leader one for the main opposition party, Honorable Daniel Koroma, the start for talk say.
During our first engagements, we raised this issue of compliance or non-compliance to Section 32, subsection 3 of the Constitution. It was proven that there was no compliance, and we had a closed door. On that day, it was unanimously agreed that we hold on to the interview process of Mr. Edmond S. Alpha as Commissioner ECSL Southern Province. And then we were waiting for this said compliance to happen. But to our greatest dismay, after about 2 weeks, we convened another committee meeting, of which I was also present. And relevant stakeholders were consulted, including my party was consulted, as to whether 32.3 in respect of the APC party has been complied with? The answer was no. It never happened.
Honorable Daniel Koroma be same way so say
That whether Mr. Alpha is a suitable candidate or not, whether the constitution was complied with or not, we on this side, we will not accept. But what bothers me most is why you think you should not accept. Why? Why? That is what bothers me most. And that is my reason for the announcement of this ritual. We on this side, we are unable to accept. We are unable. We wanted to, but we are unable. You know what? We believe we are bound by the dictates of our national constitution. And above all, to God and conscience, and if I'm to be true to myself, compliance to 32(3) of the constitution does no harm to the chances of Mr. Alpha to be approved. It does no harm, absolutely no harm. That compliance does no harm. But for the fact that members on that side are aware of this, of the zero harm to compliance of 32(3), but nevertheless choose to go ahead. Democracy, I'm sorry for you. You are dead in Israel.
after we Honorable Daniel Koroma be done for talk, APC member of parliament them been comot na the well and not been take part by Edmond Alpha in approval. But the leader of government business, Honorable Matthew Sanyuma, be also get this for say.
When you are campaigning, you campaign with violence. Policies changing the lives of people. So, Mr. Speaker, let me now come to political parties that responded. 9 political parties out of 17. It's not over 2/3. You think are they so clever than the others? And let me tell you, they are so fast to reply. APC responded on the 24th of April. SFPP, we on the other side, replied on the 3rd of May. So, and they are here saying we are not consulted. What type of consultation do you need?
Even though APC member of parliament them not been there na the well, the speaker, Honorable Sengepo Solomon Thomas, be put this question.
Honorable members, the question is that the 15th report of the first session of the 6th Parliament of the Committee on Appointments and the Public Service be adopted by the House and that the recommendations contained therein be approved. All those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Member of parliament them from the ruling party be end up for approve Edmond Alpha as commissioner for ECSL na the southern region. Honorable Manso Dumbia as chairman, board of director for the Sierra Leone Port and Harbour Authority, and Augustine Fodegobi as Deputy Commissioner for the Anti-Corruption Commission. Inside the same sitting, Parliament don swear in Honorable Moses Edwin as Member of Parliament for Bont District and 2 other Member of Parliament them. For Rise Radio, me na Fatma Tabangura, they report.
The program you listen to now, Wi Yone Salone, they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM. We start the time now 16 minutes after 6, and we'll continue with the program. The Minister of Health, Dr. Austin Dembi, together with the Deputy Minister of Technical and Higher Education, don't turn the sword for the construction of the Faculty of Basics Medical Sciences, then building for students them where one for be doctor them. This turning of the sword ceremony will take place now Kosotong campus na Jue inside Freetown. For more on that, make we join reporter Bintu Sudan Sise.
For country we get over 7 to 8 million people, and about 5,000 doctors for the country. This now waiting the Minister of Health, Dr. Austin Dembi talk, now the sword turning for the construction of the Faculty of Basic Medical Science building na the College of Medicine. And according to the Vice Chancellor na the college, it's in about 50 doctors the college done they produced over the years. And for add pada number day and self-help for improved book learning na the country, make the Minister of Health, Dr. Austin Dembi, together with the Minister of Higher and Technical Education, do the turning of the sword for the construction of the Faculty of Basic Medical Science building na the College of Medicine, Kosotong campus. For get more trained doctors for help and well-body business na the country. When be the talk on behalf of the college, Professor Mohamed Samai, the Chancellor of the College of Medicine and Allied Sciences, say in glad about the new building.
Today we are going to experience the turning of the sword for the construction of a basic sciences block. That is where medicine is being taught. That is the backbone of medicine. So if you are going to be a good doctor, your basic sciences have to be very strong. So that building is going to make provision for a mini conference room, a lecture theater, couple of classrooms, a wet lab, skills lab, a remote or a digitalized area where we can also do remote training, and staff room, office for the dean and heads of department, and an open plan office. So it's a comprehensive structure that is going to accommodate everybody within the basic faculty. As the assistant DVCs, that is just the beginning. We are looking forward to 3 of such structures.
Sajo Aziz Kamara, the Deputy Minister of Technical and Higher Education, talks say the projects will help advance education at the country.
This is major. With the experience, we know the government don't invest a lot on education. And as a result of that, you see a lot of people that take up options, like we need more doctors then. So having this facility here for the Faculty of Medical Sciences will mean we're able to produce more doctors there. So that means waiting they come from the school as a result of the investments in human capital development, you get space for them. Which we don't realize over time. So you don't produce so much and then space not for them go in the classroom. People in the past was they're not able to go into college because the space not exists. So this is a big boost. So this $3.5 million project we help them bring and we work together, really go advance education, in particular for ensuring so we get more doctors in the country. So now that I mean. And so it's really human capital development. So when you talk about human capital, you talk about education, you talk about health, you talk about all the sectors there. So you see we work together.
Austin Demby, the Minister of Health, where himself be the talk more. But this project here, so Usain say
we've been on challenge commerce and the faculty and the leadership say Salone need more doctors. They need more doctors, more well-trained doctors. So they agree. Now, first term commerce may only produce about 50 doctors a year. Now we are seeing enroll up to 600 this year. Last year they enrolled 400. The year before they enrolled 300. So the numbers have increased considerably. And when the number had increased, importantly, you get the infrastructure we will support them. So now I make we can today for build this brand new building, modern building for them. We go allow the Faculty of Pure Science for let the student be ready to take on this role of their training as doctors and pharmacists. So that people that were interested be able for beam in to commerce. So again, we want to let commerce be the topmost university medical school in the region, and that's what we aspire for.
Demby continue for talk say the project gets for last for 12 to 18 months as the money for start the project already there, and self-mention the impact we get for great na the well-body side and safe planning.
This project at 12 to 18 months. We don't secure the money, about $3.5 million. Commerce been very, very active in the design of the building. Commerce been very active in the selection of the contractors by open competitive tender. And now with the hopes we will work very closely with Commerce for supervise, oversee this project, let them deliver on time and on budget. This now quite transformational impact we will get, because again, like I say, we want more doctors, one more trained doctors, and not only for Kosotania, but now for the whole country. So that we're able to deploy the doctors every sub-district in the country. And so this now, only one medical school we get so far, yeah? So this is now the engine for develop the health workforce for the country. We get a second medical school where we start Jala, but then just don't start the pre-med program now. So this now one engine for supply the doctor and pharmacy for the whole country. So now important side.
The outgoing Student Union President Ibrahim Conte, together with other students get this for say, but how they feel, but the new faculty building.
This is not infrastructure. We I think say commerce, when it comes to infrastructure, we be deficit. But thank God for the DVC we get, especially the faculty of nursing and midwifery where they established. We don't get several buildings. And this one as well, especially with this now main campuses, now a good one. We will create a lot of impact, especially when students will get that kind of space for actually lecture in classes. And other rooms that we are in, they will use will become free. But then we just get just 3 buildings now. We're in, of course, the multipurpose hall, the Taki building, and the Premier building. We're in one. So like we'll be really the struggle when it comes to, classrooms. Like the Teukam, ideally for we have the year one, about take a class na Kosoya, but then just because of infrastructure, the move class gonna turn. So as a result of then the public transport go, then the all be a burden to we. So with this structure, I think that's a huge one for we.
Well, I think that this project will aid because there are many people who are dying due to lack of medical doctors and medical practitioners. But the extension of the buildings will also aid for new students to come to the university, and also it will combat the death rate and infant mortality in our societies today. And we have lack of doctors and physicians. So if we have this project here, it will also aid, and also for accommodation for students. Hostels, we struggled so much to get the hostel. But if there is a massive change in this new project, we also hope for more projects to come that will help to build accommodation for students, especially those of us who are coming from the provinces.
The outgoing president, Ibrahim Conte, end up tell thank you to the Minister of Health, then partners them, and self tell thank you to the Vice Chancellor for his work we don't do na the university, and for say the book learning business go before na the campus and serve the country. The Minister of Health, Dr. Austin Demby, the Deputy Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Sajo Aziz, end up turn the sword for start the building for the Faculty of Basic Medical Science na the College of Medicine and Allied Sciences. For Rise Radio, me na Bintu Sudan Sise, the report.
Send a message to the number 077-963-963. 077-963-963. Number I can send a message to, and we go read them for you inside the program. And remember, say the program is still listening to now. We're on Salon, and they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM. The time now from Studio Clock now 6:25, and we get inside the studio. Dr. Alex Bangura, we now geopolitical analyst, and a day with we for can talk on geopolitics. Geopolitics now a method of studying foreign policy for understanding, explain, and predict international political behavior through geopolitical variables. These include area studies, climate, topography, natural resources, and applied science. And for that, like I said earlier on, we get inside the studio Dr. Alex Bangura. Welcome inside the program.
Yes. Good evening, listeners, and good evening, Rise Radio. It's a pleasure being here for me to talk about things that we get to do with, natural resources, politics, as well as with concern the arts. Many times you see geography, what we refer to as geopolitics.
Okay, so why do we need to understand geopolitics? And maybe we even want to explain it in a better way who listener really will understand. Because this one concept where, a lot of the people around, even those who are educated, not can grasp them that much. So how do we understand what's in geopolitics and how it works, and why do we need to understand that?
Okay, just as when I do the introduction, before getting to that point, I principally introduce the downstream sector of oil and gas, or you see petroleum na Sierra Leone. And now geopolitics, now one important, module in the studies of, oil and gas. And areas also we get to do with natural resources. So without which, and it's unfortunate that the system we get na Sierra Leone over the years, particularly the one that we store the natural resources, it get to do with geology and the like. Now model we no can do so, and those also studying political science. They're not the duam. So in other words, we can say a contemporary studies the Salone, and where we also talk about the resource cost, which is a contemporary studies. It gets essential elements of geopolitics, and as I don't talk before, it get to do with the effect of the arts, geography, that's location of places. Then when you get a mix of that, we get to do with human physical science. Then we're looking at the effects on politics and international relations. In other words, we can say geopolitics get to do with natural resources, but it also get to do with how we see say they don't partition the earth. And many times if we narrow them, come to Africa, and we see how Africa has been partitioned. Many times you can say how Europe don't partition Africa. Now the battle for space and power, geopolitics now the battle for space and power, putting out within a geographical location.
So basically, you the try for tell family say everything about geopolitics concerning science, climate, and safe gas, politics and safe gas and oil.
Yes.
Okay.
That make we say we're talking about geopolitics, and many times they get sessions with the military. That was the 2014 command of the military, and I've been training them on international defense strategy and military geopolitics, because geopolitics, they take many different forms. But essentially, we talk about geopolitics of economics, that's economic geopolitics. Then we also they look at geopolitics where fall within energy. We can say energy geopolitics. And we look at military geopolitics as well as also geopolitics we get to do with decision making in terms of international relations, in terms of politics, who wins takes it all. So you realize that the three branches them we get to do with economic geopolitics, and I will explain in details the effect of that.
Because now that's just one for us that let you go elaborate small one on them different aspects and the on geopolitics. So family go they listen out there go able to understand, because basically if I tell you not everybody understand or don't they hear but geopolitics. So someone go be say geopolitics waiting this they do. So explain some of the aspect anybody one at least mommy fast to say we don't able to understand small.
Okay, well, diplomatic geopolitics gets linked with international relations and global politics. And we don't, they talk now some corridors, they advise, even before they call the results for the 2018 elections, 2018 elections. I say in consequence of diplomatic geopolitics, the APC no go win the elections because of the relations with China. And we are surprised to knowing that. I see also the Mamama Airport is another. And we always understand, see, you get the West. The West, I meant here, Britain, America, as well as France. We then take a larger portion, a partitioning of West Africa. Always geopolitics, they talk about how the West don't partition Africa and capture their own interest. It happens everywhere. And the emergence also of Russia, where they talk about peaceful nuclear reactor as part of energy geopolitics. So now that aspect there of geopolitics get to do it once then decide for lay a regime or incumbent governments for make regime change take effect. No matter what happen, it take effect in consequence of diplomatic geopolitics, whether you win elections or not. It determines at that level. And the statements of the U.S. ambassador tell some other people them say it's highly diplomatic. You can only able to understand that with your geopolitical lenses. We get a link with international relations. Everybody they interpret them the way they want for interpret them. But diplomatic statements, now statements where then they put out, they're part of, the aspect where I just don't talk with. We get to do with diplomatic aspect. Then they put them out as if it favors you. But in other words, it not favor you, where you try to understand them the other way. So they will sit and make decision at that level. We get to do with diplomacy, international relations, and now in the rule the world. And as we don't enter into that stage there, We're at the Third World War, we're into. We're at the battle for space and power, putting out within a geographical setting. I was called upon, there was a time, I think 2018 in Nigeria, and the government ministers were there, and my paper was dissecting geopolitical uncertainties and the resource costs. And I put it to them that Nigeria couldn't defend herself in the face of Shell because the activities of Shell for pull crude oil, it don't get so many affected and we're cancerous, they're not able to defend themselves. Then the spilling effect, again, if I can narrow them down, geopolitics to our own situation here. Conducting training with the command of the military, 2014, who's how you get the generals. I asked them a question, say, waiting actually now the fundamental reasons for the prolonged decade-ended civil conflicts in Sierra Leone, the war we fought. Everybody will come with statements. Then at the end of the day, I tell them, say, why would I not bring in an element of geopolitics?
I was really going to ask whether that particular war they actually get any geopolitical undertone, really.
During the days of Shaka Stevens, we realized that he was playing smart, dealing with Britain, and try for dinner and good books and do it in the ones. On the other hand, if they play some kind of dangerous game again with arch rivals of Britain and America, with Russia, Cuba, they've been there with them. So a lot of things that be done well for a regime change because of your activities them. So we realized that military coups, counter coup d'etat, all take effect, but may happen for usurp, power for unseatam. Not until the time where President Mokambo, we ask Boko people them, what happened at Sierra Leone, the reason they will tell you now that because of one party states, we needed a change of governments, the people were tired, and all the recommendations. But it has to do with geopolitical undertone for a regime change. Once in our favor or the interest of the other side, I wouldn't want to name names here, we favor them. Always in the call for a regime change. Now, so the neo-colonial projects, they're always set, and Africa don't dine at the dining table. They make first things become difficult on you. The APC, we realize that when they say it was the fastest growing economy, yes, we're not going to gain total independence where your economy no good, you're not able to take care of yourself. Once you begin to do that, what happens? We get Ebola. When they try to cushion the economy at that challenging moment, then waiting up when they say iron ore, the price knocked down. So that was economic geopolitics. We begin to realize that. And now, if the political party not able to cushion itself, waiting to happen, a quick regime change they can because country we not able to take care of its citizens, then it results to that. So then cushion the economy. Then to the other point again, what happens? Diplomatic geopolitics, and they couldn't survive it. They lose the elections, and they also witness signs of the nature. I wouldn't want to state, but it begin from that angle there.
Okay, so one crucial area around all of this geopolitical talk around here is the fact that some people don't believe so much so that elections in Africa and more so in Sierra Leone, for example, are not always determined by Sierra Leoneans, then votes, for example. Like you mentioned about some geopolitical undertones. Are these realistic when it comes to geopolitical? They are that powerful that they can determine really, the outcome of an election in Africa.
It plays a significant role in determining who wins an election and who takes. So therefore, the government therefore be careful because incumbents will be careful. You realize that the West don't entrench so much into politics. Don't forget, we're talking about geopolitics. African countries have been partitioned and everybody don't come and take an interest. Geopolitics, now the battle for space, that's your geographic location, and power putting out within a geographical setting for obvious reasons. One could be because of on a natural resource, on the economic value of the states, and so forth. So elections are determined also by whosoever funds the elections and gets interest. And furthermore, it is incumbent upon, governments where they in power for always strive for do the best. But again, when you look at like for Sierra Leone, moving to China, there is competition now on the world order. If you decide to go to Russia, there is a competition again on the world order, failing to realize that already you've been partitioned on what is referred to as the neo-colonial project.
So talking about that, mentioning then two nations that are powerful nations, Russia as it is right now, but also know the relation between China and Sierra Leone, for example. Looking at those two nations, how Salone deal with them right now? How do you put that in context, and how is that helping Sierra Leone? Maybe.
Well, always at international frontier, we expect those are the aim of decision making, the political will policies, for always there on top of situation, and therefore look at diplomatic intervention. Please, we not for lose grip of military dimension on geopolitics. Now, to your question, always and for put the country's interest above all, because with the yearn for development. And you get for really able for understudy China and the interest. China always they come in for get a greater part of them, but it depends on the agreements, on the bargaining you make with China. So greater part could be of your interest. Like for the Mamama airport, we all see. And time no good for dig into that and look at, and even the toll gates, for looking to the interest of the country above the other side in terms of negotiations when it comes to the economic aspect of that. So if you don't do that, I'm afraid, and they will tell you that also the IMF and other international institutions, then conditions so rigid or stiff. The conditions where they give you for you able to take money from them, then it is stifle developments, the pace at which you want them fully be. So you get forget people them where they understand foreign policies, we understand international relations, and we understand global politics.
Okay, the program is still listening to. Now we on Salone and they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM. And members yourself can be part of the program. Send a message to number 077-963-963. Or if you watch your live now, Facebook page, Nana Rise Radio SL 96.3 FM. And we still get inside the studio, Dr. Alex Bangura. We are a geopolitical analyst as a day with we for can talk about the state of geopolitics inside Salone. Continue for day with we and la come to you, Alex. Before now, you make mention of the area of funding election as where somebody they fund election get a own role or a own interest in how this gets for do or how geopolitics come in this particular area.
Okay. Just as we mentioned earlier, say, it get to do with strategy and political power, and they avoid that. Just
or
as
you same way so one for say all this while the one them way done they fund we election them in this country get an in
Well, yes, and one part of geopolitics where I will take you through, where they talk about the term. As I don't mention before, we refer to a power at the largest of scales, and simultaneously also to the geographical agreement of that power we always talk about, and it is linked directly to European moods of conceiving the world as a whole and then discussing how it is divided and ruled by many political organizations. We get economic and political organizations. So now then they partition, then they decide how then they rule. Don't forget that. Some other countries then they fund the elections. And when they fund the elections, now then they decide how the process for go like. And I'm afraid that...
So now the same thing happened in this 2023 election. We country fund the election, our president fund the election. So he decide how the election for go.
Well, I wouldn't want to conclude on that, but I'm telling you that it has geopolitical undertone, and we see the dimension of that or the trend of that. And my advice is for incumbent governments is to work assiduously. The choice of those at the aim of affairs, where they appoint government appointees, ensuring that they're able to deliver. Otherwise, the trap, go miss them. Where the economic aspect, where things is stiff. And you will agree with me as to whether Sierra Leone has experienced such in the recent past, as to whether things then don't become difficult prior to elections. I meant the economic situation at the country. All of that, the trigger, involvement, influence of international organizations, especially where I mentioned, say we get many political organizations where they already divide and rule how things for happen. So that could send a signal to them for a decision making. So the first thing the governments could do, although the global economy is quite challenging, but always now for try that those you appoint and minimize corruption, because they end corruption. Okay. And also quality deliverables. Governments they sign performance contracting with ministries, departments, and agencies, but you get a technical bridge on how to go about to do that. And Sierra Leone is caught in the middle. We are faced with that. The technical aspect of how to go with the performance contracting is an issue. So once you're able to put all of them in place, then you will realize that you try to escape that basket. Because when things become difficult, we all know, people, they call for a regime change, and they come out for votes. And once that happens, you realize that you're not able to cushion the economy. The next one, diplomatic geopolitics. They make all kind of way for you lose elections.
So we can look at funding where international committee can give to we country, and especially some sectors them. So which means because with this geopolitics undertone and all the other things we don't they play, that they should say them money then they wait and they send to we then they like dictate what we supposed to do. Even we passed election because international community don't they fund we passed elections them where according to you where geopolitics they play under, then they will for dictate like order for win, order not for win, or how the election for go affect again this 2023 election, because they not fund this 2023 election. It was funded by our country. They're not able to manipulate in them. I don't know what you.
Well, salt water and fresh water no they ever mix, and if you try to mix it, you see the difference. So therefore, you're not going to eat from this side and you eat from the other side. I'm telling you again that most of those organizations, where they fund European organizations and the one from America continent, then get interest. And if you take from them, then you want to go mix also arch rivals of the West, as I have mentioned, it becomes a problem. So my advice is the choice of, the leaders them, we're able to take you through the ministers them and how they can able to deliver. Then on the other aspect, we get to look at policies, existing policies. And once you're not able to put all of them in their rights, yes, then go dictate to you. It happens in recent past, where then say, for subsidize for fuel and other things them. And the APC will resist that. Say if you cut down, then that could be a huge economic burden on the people on taxation. And once that happens, the people no go appreciate the government. And once you begin sense something of the sort like that, if you know say they don't begin tire with you. Now when a strategy this for let the people and just come out and say we don't become unpopular, so then we'll get ways and means for coming. So we need people and way for able to dissect that. I do believe, say, within government, and can try to get experts, people and way understand about foreign relations, diplomacy, international relations, geopolitics, and once you get people of the sort or you consult, then you begin for dissect, you begin for see, then thing they happen. But Today, geopolitics, they play a central role in decision-making, in partitioning, the world for A or for B. We see now Ukraine, Russia, they fight for something. You come again to Sierra Leone, we don't talk on the last time. Yenga, I'd wanted to travel to Yenga because I would be beginning take interview by then. I was a young man, now I'm getting older. So, so young, I doubt if I've been reached 18 or so. With Umaru Fofana on Yenga, take, interview BBC on that because we moved to Yenga with Get a Better Than Gone Save Yenga campaign. And we don't begin for sense something of the sort like that and how governments can intervene and see. I'm not talking on militarization. Other areas and the way you talk about military diplomacy, you talk about all of that for SIDOM and discuss the issue with other bodies concerned. But they really need for demilitarize the zone, especially the Guineans, and see also they occupy the place and the need for lefties. So now it can begin small, and we see Eritrea, Ethiopia, situation of the nature, Bakassi, Nigeria as well, and many other parts again, and even Kashmir. You talk about India, and Pakistan, and so forth and so forth. Now we talk about Ukraine. Then we see 30 days from where them begin as Syria, because I've been streaming Syria in my presentation. And anything we get to do with geopolitics, now thing we get to do with on the resource cost, minerals. Okay. Yes, natural resources always get. And don't forget again, and countries them where also you realize that they get sea on the geomarket space can also face challenges. And Sierra Leone, we are so blessed. We get with sea for transports, whatever on with geomarket space. And Yenga, now another important side again on with geomarket space, where Guinea, they try for kind of crouch. Aside the mineral resources, we go did it. But again, now with geomarket space, because when a country now gets anything in there, it becomes quite challenging. But for Sierra Leone, we get the sea for sea transportation, when an essential aspect of geopolitics. And also your geomarket space, the land, the border, where they want for can take so. So you realize that whosoever funds and elections, where they give you money for run, if they are the interest, then if you say they take money from them, then you want to go back to the rival. Even in the scripture, they tell you, say the God who they worship is a jealous God.
Okay, we can look at that area of rival and other things and continue for the way to inside the program. Alex in name na Alex Bangura. The program na Wi Yone Salone and they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM, and members if can be part of the program, send a message to number 077-963-963. Or if you watch your live now Facebook page, you can send us drop your message there and we go read them. The program still continue as salons still experience fuel shortage where don't they affect beaucoup business them now the country don't make the CEO for Aminata and Sons Salon Limited, Mohamed Touré, don't say in company they work for about over 5,000 metric tons of gasoline and other good petroleum products them where we go get for we go be temporal way for reduce shortage na the country. For more on this, make we join we on Alhaji Musaba.
Fuel shortage na still crisis na the country, and this don't affect beaucoup business and sectors them. For sake of this, Salon don't see the establishment of Aminata and Sons Salon Limited, one new petroleum company. The CEO for Aminata and Sons Salon Limited, Mohamed Touré, say the petroleum company they work for harbor over 5,000 metric tons of gasoline and other good petroleum product them we go be one temporal way for help reduce the fuel shortage. He talk this, also been get one engagement with journalists them where he been talk about the current state of fuel crisis in the country.
This is a critical moment, so we are stepping up to resolve a temporary problem. This is not a permanent solution, a temporary problem. Right after our vessel, I understand NP is also coming with another vessel, which is a bigger one. But this wasn't our plan. We just decided to step up to be able to service the situation as it is now. We are bringing 5,000 metric tons already out of the 5,000 metric ton, 1,000 has been sold by pre-buyers in advance. So practically we're going to have about 4,000 tons to sell. 700 tons is going to take us close to 2 weeks.
This na a critical moment as fuel shortage na still a crisis in the country. And Mohamed Touré, the CEO for Aminata and Sons Salon Limited, say it is far from demand. For CC, petrol go up to 40 millions as waiting the public don't they speculate this being time.
Definitely, I don't think the pump price should be increased. The pump price should be normal. Like I said, this is now for profit making. So we are not going to reflect the marginal cost onto the price. We're just going to take as the market demands.
With all this kind of effort, from the private sector investment them and the petroleum sector in the country, the public they expect more effort from the government for reduce the fuel crisis in the country. Me will bring this report to you na Alhaji Musaba.
Thank you very much, Alhaji, for putting that report day together. If you just join, we listen to the program Wi Yone Salone, where they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM from the studios in Brookfields. Members said today we talk about geopolitics, try to understand them, but also how they impact on nations them across the world, which also includes Sierra Leone, we own country. So if you get any comments regarding what we talk, right here, the number is 077963963963. You can send me a message, or if you watch you live on our Facebook page at riseradiosl 96.3 FM, just drop a comment to get Dr. Alex Bangura, a geopolitical analyst, help we make we understand geopolitics. So we can take a quick break, and after the break, we'll continue back with Doctor for understand better how geopolitics they impact nations.
Another weekend don't come, and our tempo go bye-bye. So come join AfriMoney and Creative Hub Africa for a weekend of non-stop bye-bye on the 25th and 26th of May 2024. Now the AfriCell building, Bendos Drive, Beach Road. What are you dey wait for? You don't need physical cash. Just flop your AfriMoney wallet and come bye-bye with your family. Now we one-stop Luma Market. Because we get all thing where you want. Enjoyment self day for the picking them. All waiting you need for do and for pay 5 Leo Saget through AfriMoney and get free top up. Dial *161*4# and enjoy the experience. AfriMoney and Creative Hub Africa. Gladdy weekend for bye.
Welcome back from the short break there. The program you still listen to now Wi Yone Salone, and they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM, and members yourself can be part of the program by way we go send a message to number 077-963-963, and members say they get your live from our studios in Brookfields and safe from we Facebook page when Rise Radio SL 96.3 FM with support from AfriCell. Inside the program today, we talk about understanding geopolitics and how it impacts we country, and save the All People's Congress members of Parliament now be agree for be part of Edmond Alpha in approval na Parliament, and save the CEO for Aminata and Sons Limited don't say then they work for our over 5,000 metric tons of gasoline and other good petroleum products them we go reduce fuel shortage na the country the Storia and other one them they for you inside the program today. We will bring the program come to you today. Me name na Masanyanga.
I mean Musa by Sise.
And still get inside the studio Alex Bangura, we a geopolitical analyst as a day with today inside the studio for talk about geopolitics and within mean. Now we country. The time now from the studio clock and at 6:57, and the program they continue.
So Doc, we look at even talk just now. You mentioned about the Sienga issue. We're also quite connected with geopolitics. The question of the run in mind are that how we go assess the kind of engagement with Salon government on they engage or on they approach that issue? There is it slow? Is it that diplomatic? How you go put them really like in terms of geopolitical? I mean, addressing issues of that nature.
Yes, it has to be done in that way. We get a diplomatic approach, because comparing the strength of the Guinean military to that of Sierra Leone, I wouldn't want to comment for obvious reasons we know. And now we see our countries, them all over the world, because of geopolitics, they strengthen the military. Yes, there is a new horizon in terms of technology where countries then they use for build up the military and some will tell you geopolitics and nuclear strategy, and also technology, the use of drone and the like. Because once a country gets the value of natural resource wealth, that country they need for protect for itself in terms of munition, in terms of war strategies. It's part of what have been discussed in the command of the military in my sessions with them, international defense strategy and military geopolitics. Always countries therefore invest so much in that because that's the new frontiers. Annexation of Yenga by the Guinean, it's so bad. And you understand that it has to do with geopolitics, and you couldn't talk about geopolitics by divorcing, military dimensions on geopolitics. So on Yenga issue, the governments don't try to engage them, but we want to see much of that. And we do believe, say, before this time, that was the regime of Ernest Bai Kromah, then we don't get discussions, and the colonial masters from France and England, we don't come with a map and discuss the issue with Alpha Conde Binde and say that portion they belongs to Sierra Leone. All of a sudden, the emergence of the military regime in Guinea, we left that place, the so porous, because once something of the sort we don't happen, the way I believe, say, if we don't become a buffer zone, we get all military tents and whatsoever for don't day for protect the place. They don't know say now we own, but we don't allow them for infiltrate. We know something which tomorrow will be, a quite challenging issue. So I don't engage them, but we not see much of that yet because hadn't been then, they would have demilitarized the zone, especially occupation of the Guinean military, and we need to see much of that. We want to see the incumbent government push in ensuring that happen. I understand, say, at some quarters, the government don't they report them to the Security Council. And we want to see that in our ARC. We want for see much of that done because that place belongs to Sierra Leone. It has been proven by the colonial masters, from France and Britain. Then we don't go to during the time of Ernest Kromah and they'll resolve the issue. And I want to believe now the third time this, during the course of the war, now Salone, that place was a buffer zone because rebel they infiltrate, they go Guinea and we pack a in there. So it was agreed with Lance Nakon to say, make that place to be buffer zone. So that, again, the Guinean them puts them tank there so that rebels are not going to be able to go infiltrate and cross over. But now we don't see, say, for economic benefits, the Guineans then just don't go there, and we want to see more action.
So why make from them ten in the way they don't declare or say it belongs to Sierra Leone and not we don't try for protect that particular area there?
Well, now that's how they talk about. Now I make geopolitics get a major role for play. If only we're able to understand this, and so good that I get students then where we don't lecture over the years on that, and we need more sessions on that. That we look at the Third World War now, and from the era of George Bush, the world order has been declared and partitioning of the world from that period when the war broke. Now, Afghanistan and even Iraq, they say that the war on terror, but it was far beyond that. It has to do with geopolitical approach, and the same thing happened in Syria again because now Russia. When we talk about Eurasia, then liquefied natural gas, the converter, then gets the pipe, then we pass through that side for able to supply some part of Europe and Asia. So right away, because of change of regime and partitioning for CICE, then have take position as Syria and kick Russia out. One, because of economic benefits and the whole lot, then you see how it happens there. And all this while, maybe don't they plea, even when I be the lecture my student, them say, okay, some amount of crude oil, they say, of commercial quantity, containing less sulfur content, which is sweet oil, has been discovered. And we talk about Sulima. They say pipeline for Komot, Sulima, go other place. I say, no, making no results with it happen in Sudan. Outside the oil, the Komot, they will make sure, say, it is being processed there. Then if you want for transport them now, then you can get how to do, but enough will be taken from that point, they go another side. So we really need for take younger.
Okay, Alex, like how it's you back because before we go for the break, we talk about rivalry, and then we see now Salone, whether na a new relationship or they want to renew the relationship, but we don't see Salone they try for like get a relationship with Russia, and we don't they get party business with China and other countries. Them. Let we look at this Russia relationship. We see now they want to even build the
peaceful nuclear reactor for energy.
Yes, so now we can look at Russia and Syria.
I am concerned about the timing, being that we get a situation with it boil now, having to do with credibility of the elections, and a committee being set up, which is the tripartite committee looking into all of these, and it is not lost on us that Russia are arch rivals of Britain and America, and we know the role where Britain and America don't play in Sierra Leone in terms of, the financial institutions in supporting us, standing for democracy. We, of course, then are the father of democracy, and for see how then cascade them, come down to we and how we can able for nurture with democracy. So I am concerned about the timing of that, although it is clearly stated by the Russian, foreign minister that it has to do with peaceful, nuclear, whatever. And we not say we get uranium, na Sierra Leone, and uranium can be used for nuclear and power, and also for energy and a whole lot. But let we not get them wrong again. Say geopolitics, the economic aspect of it, should Russia come and set up, meaning that now then they get control over we. So it means that portion of Sierra Leone, it has been taken, partitioned at a global level when it comes to geopolitics. And I've been telling you initially, say, when it comes to geopolitics, it get for do it area where you get international institutions, financial institutions, where they decide, where then they come in and they decide on political power and see how they get control over you. So eventually, Russia would have to have control over us. Then it's a mixed. It's a mixed, and I'm afraid.
Say this business go affect the other relationship with the other countries and we Salone get?
Well, yes, it does have effect. I'm talking about rivalry. It has to do with that partitioning of Africa and the world, and through geopolitics, as I mentioned, long before that time, but the era of George Bush, we realized that the new horizon, the dimension of geopolitics don't take effect from then and we don't envisage. And how will they happen now? Like, China then gets some other party like Southern Africa, which is important. So we really need to take that into consideration. Yes, to your question, the answer to it is it will get some kind of a mixed feelings, reactions, and when anything and they happen with geopolitical lenses, we they see the eminence change of regime, a way they paved for a change of regime, because you're not good there now home, your daddy they with you, they take care of you. Then the person way not agree with you, daddy. Then you forget, say, you don't 18 years, you don't do for left home. Then at that person, they go closer to, they drive in a house, just no, they fast safe. So basically, that's the happen, and it will be sour. Then how did it drive you? The eminent change of regime will take effect. Where I tell you, say, for that change of regime there, it will begin with huge burden having to do with economic geopolitics. If you survive that, the other area of that, where you get to do with diplomatic geopolitics, yes, you go lost elections, bro, and other supports them where you forget. The obvious is the military dimensions. We now military geopolitics. You will be kicked out. We don't sense in we recent past, now the Sahel and other places, them, military coup d'etat. Then we look at that, why? That's the change of regime. And even to Guinea, where they closer to we. So that's the effect. And it's not timely, the coming in of, we know saying a development for energy, but for keep that, the reactors them, it costs a lot. We need the Russians them for come with the expertise, and the money also will get for the pay. Huge portion of them they go over to the Konski. Then also they get control over we because of the energy.
Okay, I get one question on Facebook. We are one for it quick for you. To, according to just now, we don't talk about the rivalry I go affect. This one they say, how does Sierra Leone's geopolitical location and natural resources wealth impact its geopolitical relationship within West Africa and with major global powers like China and the United States?
Yes, it will affect a lot. To start with first is their interest on what we have.
Okay.
That's the one part. And if we get good policies and we try for see how we reduce corruption, because that's the issue, then it will profit we. But again, it's their interest. The resources them where we get now, even when the African minerals, but they take even up to the sand, the soil, Bagam, say in day of non-commercial quantity. If Fadika was alive, then if they answer them questions, then they how them they take the minerals and they go away contains, zircon and a whole lot of that. It's in a doti, day of commercial quantity. So it helps them a lot, and even all the other minerals them we are just mentioned, and the one we get to do with uranium, where we know tap into it, now benefits to their nations. Then so it has to do with natural resource governance, our policies for good, we're going for benefits with. So the question to the person, we get what in the world wants, and now it will be to a economic interest. The South Africans will say beneficiation of natural resource wealth. That's how we go benefits. We as a nation, remember from the 1930s, diamonds were discovered in Sierra Leone. Then if we be able to replicate the Botswanan model, then if for help we, for see how we can able for cut polish, then diamonds in there. And we can always say this, that natural resources are finite and depleting. It not get a multiplier effect. Even when you try for conserve them, for keep them, natural resources are finite and depleting. It not a multiply. If you continue for take them exponentially, it goes up to a level when it all reach in peak, like for oil pick up, and it falls down. So now so it happen. You dey begin for extract them, go to a point at the pinnacle, the peak, there they fall, meaning that you lose them. Dubai, when they were running out of a commercial quantity of oil, then waiting happen, then go into tourism. But Sierra Leone, no provision will not make for that. And that's going to be a problem for us. So we need for review, looking into our policies. Geopolitics goes with policies and governance of natural resource wealth. And countries them we get natural resources. I'm telling you, especially in Africa, the paradox or the contemporary study we refer to as the resource curse. It is say whether a blessing or a curse. Paradoxically, countries them we get natural resources in West Africa, for those use them for better than safe, otherwise na a cost, a suffering, burden, because of corruption and the policies them. So we get what in other countries they want from we and even West Africa, but it all depends, because when you talk about the extractive sector, they only go no more for go begin on the primary aspect of production. For the extract, they shift to the secondary when a manufacturing. Because when you manufacture it creates more jobs, more money they come, foreign cash is being pumped into the economy, whether on foreign direct investments. Then we're looking at with geo-market space, how we can able for, we get with sea, with the transports, but even timber, the Chinese, they can't take them. Then go do the wood yonder. They make the money. Nothing much in the kind of politicians, they always feel say, because of the elites within they put in their pockets, it better. But that's a bad decision. Okay. If Nayaso will be the process them, realize that we people them for don't skilled, job for don't day, and when they do the agreements, transfer of knowledge is significant, because that's what foreign direct investment comes with. The last session where I've been go getting at the U.S. Embassy, a session on that, on foreign direct investments, and the economic department of the U.S. embassies, they were interested and say we need something of the sort.
Okay, so if you just listen to the program, we on Salone, they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM. And today we talk about geopolitics, try to understand and see how it impacts nations, them, including we own country, we in a Salone. For that, we get Dr. Alex Bangura, a geopolitical analyst. And so, Doctor, having listened to you from the start of the program up till now, it tells me, it leaves me with worries as to whether weaker nations really go to survive geopolitics against the mighty nations.
Well, yes, it can able for survive only with the policies them way you go get. Then we get what we call defense or military diplomacy. When you talk about allied forces and how you put yourself together on defense or military diplomacy is when you look at perhaps now you get ECOMOC. Right? But it's only that they're not able to cascade them policies. And then there was a time when they discussed also on ECOWAS and not make themselves relevant, even the ECOWAS courts. So once ECOMOC decides to make its mandates or its objectives, relevant, then we're talking about allied forces on defense diplomacy. Then that can able for help for protection. But again, not until we politicians then begin, or the political class then begin to realize that once a country is endowed with natural resources, that country it's difficult for that country they move forward, for develop because of the resource costs. Two, that country they always on that threat, whether internal or external aggression, and say shall still be gain interest and other international bodies, including France, but with diamonds. So the war, to some points, we say it was because of the diamond that fueled the crisis. So therefore, interest then begin for sure now, not for the cause where they be sitting the fight against the war, but now because of that. So if we not prepared, we military, we not invest so much into we internal defense tenets, it becomes quite a challenging issue. Then, of course, well, with defense diplomacy, until you get the IMATI cert, and we needing more of that, then by so doing, our preparedness that, but only when the political class will be able to envision such and see how we can allocate resources. Don't get me wrong, it's expensive to maintain military good, but for the sake of the country, a lot of threats done the signal. It's signaling, even the oil block, moving down to block something, whether 10 offshore. Libya don't insist, say, then get interest there, and now their own interest, it falls within that offshore for the oil block, And the strength of our military, I don't want to comment on it, especially the naval wing. So therefore, we've got to invest. And the sea is so porous. We just left from so no more way, supposed to make this country also develop. And we need investments into that, into military goods.
Okay, the program now we on Salone and they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM. Well, for know what's in the happen inside we courts, make we join. We on Esther Nene Camara.
Magistrate Santiri Bangua and Panabao Court number 2 don't send the case between IJP versus Almami Sise go High Court. Almami Sise don't the team before magistrate na court for answer to murder, contrary to Section 1 of the Offences Against the Persons Act 1861, as repealed and replaced by Section 1A of the Schedule of the Abolition of the Death Penalty Act 2021, Act 6 of 2022. According to police final that, Wednesday, January 10, 2024, na shipyard Kanikena Freetown, the accused Almami Sise be allegedly killed Usman Sise. After all the investigation and evidence, then with the prosecutor begin a court, Magistrate Santiri Bangura be send the case go High Court for trial. Magistrate Santiri Bangura na Paneba Court number 2 don't send John Karimo go 6 months jail na the Male Correctional Center. John Karimo don the tema before magistrate na court for answer to obtaining money by false pretense, contrary to Section 32, subsection 1 of the Lasene Act 1916. According to police final that, April 15, 2024, na Ascension Town inside Freetown. John Karimo with fraud Dauda Silla, 10,000 euros wey dem bin give am for one Toyota late motor car wey im be say e get for sale. Wey dem begin and explain the charge dem to the accused person. Im be say im guilty, but the accused person no be get lawyer wey dey team up for na court. That bin make the police wey dey prosecute the case na court. We beg the magistrate for tamper justice with mercy. Magistrate Santiri Bangura be send the accused person go 6 months jail na the main correctional center na Freetown. Magistrate Sake Kwana Paneba Court number 1 don send Ishmael Koroma and Ruth Sayo Conte go remand na the main correctional center. Ishmael Koroma and Ruth Sayo Conte for the first time they team before magistrate na court for answer to 2 counts charge them to wit wounding contrary to section 20 of the Offences Against the Person Act 1861, assault occasioning actual bodily harm contrary to section 47 of the Offence Against the Persons Act 1861. Police files say Friday, April 12 na Benjamin Lane inside Freetown. The accused people then be assault and wound Zainab Eli Bangura and Rugiatu Kamara. Magistrate Sakekura be send the 2 accused people and go remand for where they misbehave na court and adjourn the case so May 29 this year. For Rise Radio, Mina Esther Nene Kamara.
Plenty thank you to Yone Esther Nene Kamara for waiting the happen inside we court. The program is still listening to now we on Salone and they come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM. And remember, CSF can be part of the program. Send a message to the number 077 963 963. Or if you watch we live now, Facebook page, na Rise Radio SL 96.3 FM. Same way so now we YouTube, we na Rise Radio SL 96.3 FM. Send a message either or. And we will read them for you. We still get inside the studio Dr. Alex Bangura, we in a geopolitical analyst. As a day with we inside the studio for talk about the state of geopolitics na Salone. Alex, welcome to you. Tell family where they listen to you now. What you recommend? What are your recommendations by how Salone they make party relationship with other country them and how some of their relationship they are so in the future go get for the affect we or go benefit we?
Okay, first, my recommendations is for the political class, because most times the political class not can understand how far-reaching the decisions then can be, especially when it has to do with geopolitics, the foreign relations, okay, the bilateral relations where we can make signing of agreements with other nations. One can be like China and other places. Them always it will be to the interest of the country. Otherwise, I'm afraid that it wouldn't be a win-win situation. Most times you realize that there are agreements then they where we can make, can they are the advantage, to the advantage, so to speak, of we countries. So strategy and political power, then they're able for avoid geopolitical dimensions on that. Whichever strategy, whichever political power or agreements that they make with any nation, you're not able for escape the geographical dimension from that. So the need for really understand that to politicians and how the public also can able for understand that. And now, as I mentioned, the decisions we make, whether it has to do with foreign direct investment into roads or road construction, whether it can be, airports we want for construct, the airport saga from the Mamama and the terminal, or you say the new airports, Nalunge, and on the part of the bargaining, the contract, whether it disadvantageous or advantageous, so to speak, to we country, then we tell the burden we face now. So always important that whichever agreements we sign, it gets geographical dimensions. And what do we mean by geographical dimensions? Meaning that then they take portion of that. Say, now we don't can invest now the airport, They say they Turkish them. Now then gets here, they control them. So the money they come to them and they go to their country. Then you go back to the toll gates. That particular portion there, where you begin with Fogo Mashiaka toll gates, begin from the Fogo towards Waterloo, Hastings, but before getting to Waterloo, Hastings. Then you look at it saying geographical dimension, portion of it has been taken within Sierra Leone.
Okay, so earlier really you mentioned about energy, kind of geopolitics. How energy relates to this, and how is it working really for countries, and how they affect countries, weaker ones like ours?
Okay, and now we begin to talk about you're looking at the car power ship, with that portion there. You see Turkey again, eh? The money they come to them, although they're going to pay rent for the use of water outside the ship there. Well, I don't know how you go compare to waiting they take from we. So the decision they're going to make, they're going to decide, say, okay, the bargaining, the agreements we'll make, go up this way. Low, we shuts down some portion we will give supply. You realize that they control we energy space. Then power outage can they we suffer a lot where they affect, investments now the country. Then you look at again like the agreements we were enter into with Russia for peaceful nuclear for energy, then get for come, then get for Caronam with the exports them for control, and then they decide on we energy space. So therefore, on energy geopolitics, they get for do also with the oil and gas. The oil and gas, you realize, say, they can tell you, say, well, not to Sierra Leone, we get all of them in there. So at the end of the day, now there is fuel shortage to some point, whether now something where they create dealers, them, artificial scarcity they want for create or not, but then they also they tell you, and we need for move also into the new horizon when we talk about how would it shift into renewable energy sources, the renewable energy sources from fossil fuel. We're in non-renewable energy to renewable energy sources. You get to do with solar, wind. We get all of them, and then we country, somebody tell you about hydro and a whole lot, other than relying wholly on fossils fuel, for that side again. Then you see the major role where they play. To some point, Russia go tell you, say, okay, they need the supply that they cut down and how it affects. And you come also to Syria and Israel. Then it continues again and again. So on energy conservation, then we also look at the other aspect of it where the world, they try to move. We get crude oil and natural gas where they don't prospect. And how we work towards that, and how we also look at other energy sources we get to do with renewable energy sources. We get sun, not so. We make good use of them for solar plants. We can able for supply. We even if not at industrial level, but the scale of it, we know they make use of them, and even the wind.
Okay, Tim don't almost the catch we, but you get few messages from YouTube. Page this one, they say, how significant do you think geographical location is in determining a country's power and influence on the global stage? This other one, they say, what role do natural resources such as the diamond and minerals play in Sierra Leone's geopolitical strategy, and how does this impact its economic development and international relations? And then this other one, they say, what are some of the major geopolitical challenges currently facing Sierra Leone, and how is the government addressing them? And the last one, they say, can you explain how Sierra Leone's locations within West Africa influence its political and economic relationship with neighboring countries? This one are from YouTube.
Okay. Now, the person they talk about the importance of geopolitics to country. That reminds me back on geopolitics and nuclear strategy. You get this British geographer we name Alfred Mackinder, and a much cited 1904 paper we get to do with geographical pivot of history. And in formulations, if we look at Central Asia, and he say Central Asia key to world power. And if they argue, say, because it offer a pivot or heartland region where invulnerable to naval power, and hence it provide a base for which global dominance could be asserted. Now, for Sierra Leone. So therefore, geopolitics, they play a major role in that. For Sierra Leone, we see. Is that not so? The heartland. We see the River Rukel, then to some points, even the Atlantic Ocean, it's closer to Brazil. And if we're ready no more for produce things them, we realize that we use the sea for able to transport them. And say it in a strategic location. And it's only that Guinea one for kind crouch, Ayenga. We also not part of that. We bother where we get, not there with Boku countries them, but it's so significant, the link to that. And we're looking at the sea, the heartland. Now that make the British geographer be also mentioned, but Central Asia, the power we then get because of the heartland, the sea, say it's so important. And not for make a overemphasize on we natural resource wealth. We for make nations them always the wrong come to we. It depends on we policies and a whole lot. That's why you realize that Sierra Leone don't become a battle point by the West and rivals of the West for waiting we get. Naya. We most of we politicians they understand, but they make like they don't understand the economic value of the thing day. So in other words, Sierra Leone gets so much. We're talking about the rutile, we're talking about bauxite, and the major role within they play. And we talk about zircon, we're talking about chromite and coltan, which are the world's strongest steel, and many more. We unearth it, and even the sea cucumbers, and all the natural resources where they now center of attraction. We see China just did here, we don't want to know and let we go, and Britain, America, say now exploitation because we're not able to get that much benefits where we for derived. Otherwise, our resources have been exploited and taken to China. China then gets wind wall, then preserve the wind wall, still let the kaya for timber back for take and go with them. Whilst we, the Kabbalah and other places, them we just caught them. And even we forget with wildlife and we for preserve because in economics, when you talk about land as a resource, the side we not get human interference. We the preserve with forest. And we not preserve that, but we get all it takes. So therefore, Sierra Leone a center of attraction because of we geographical location, and we're talking also about we resources. Then every other nation go want for come closer to we. No mistake why we get the IMATs, the ISAT, and they keep coming time and again.
Okay, plenty. Thank you to you, Itekitem, for joining me inside the studio. Well, and so we come to the end of the program today, and members of the program, now Wi Yone Salone, and we come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM. Plenty. Thank you to we studio guest. We na Dr. Alex Bangura. We na geopolitical analyst. As it taking time for joining me today inside the studio, and hope for get them again another time for like talk more on how them party relationship there. So we talk about between Salone and other country go get for the benefits we and self like I be asking in the ending get for the affect we in the future, because not of go make party no more, but you get for first of all know how this party relationship they go, not to be sweetness they right now. You can go make the party, and then we are back for don't just we begin wondering back how for cut that relationship then a problem. So plenty thank you to you again once more, and hope for get you again another time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure being here.
Wi Yone Salone program come to you from Rise Radio 96.3 FM with support from AfriCell, the #1 network na Salone. Plenty thank you to you. We take your time for listening and send you message na WhatsApp or Facebook page or we YouTube account. One for tell you plenty thank you. Always listen to Rise Radio 96.3 FM on internet at www.riseradio.sl with support from AfriCell.
Plenty thank you to we reporters. Them we go out for make sure say the news meet on a today. To we producer Musa Baisise. To we studio engineer we na Basiru Keta and Jonah Gaya and team we make on a live now Facebook page and safe YouTube account. And special one to we executive producer we na Maria Maba. May we will bring the program come today to you. My name is Masa Nyanga.
I'm Musa Baisise. Don't forget for listening to English news when they come to you 8 o'clock. And join me again for a fresh edition of the program Rise and Shine on Monday. And same way, so Monday, a fresh edition of the program Wi Yone Salone will meet you. Same time, same place. Till and one for say tata.